Welcome into a midweek edition of Bleav and Panthers here on Bleav Podcast Networks, brought to you by the fine folks at FanDuel. Desmond Johnson in the house, loaded house today. Panthers all-time leading rusher Jonathan Stewart with me as always, and we got a special guest with us. He is a former NFL running back himself from the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Turner, also host of Bleav and Falcons, in the house with us today. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing?
We I don't know. I don't know how we feel right now.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Man, I had a great 24 hours, man. You know what I'm saying? After Sunday night, but you know how it is, Jonathan. You got to put that win behind you and move on to the next game, man.
Right. It's crazy, right? I carry that same mentality. When I'm watching the Panthers, I'm watching it with the mentality that I'm still on the team. Like I'm in the locker room, and how should I carry myself as a mixture of a fan and as a alumni of a team that I love, right? Mm-hmm. Especially now doing this podcast, I kind of want to give the insight and the mindset of, what it should be like as a player, which is perfect because Bleav in Panthers, I'm gonna believe in my Panthers until the day I die. Right. So it's like sharing that insight, even when things are going really bad. How are you supposed to be thinking? Right. Mm-hmm. What's your mentality supposed to be like? What are you working on? How are we going to get better? How are we going to rectify the last game for us in our situation? Right. And for you, how are you going to continue to keep things going? So so I'm pretty sure we're living on total opposite spectrums right now.
I was gonna say, unfortunately for me, I never played, so I'm stuck in fandom. So I'm still kind of stuck in what in the world happened Sunday. I'm just like out of it. So thankfully, I got these two guys in here with me to help me figure out what's going to happen Sunday. Panthers Falcons 1:00 kickoff on Fox. First divisional game for the Panthers. And I was going to ask, well, before we get into that though,
let's get in. Let's talk a little bit, Mike. Mike. So from, obviously you're right down the street in Atlanta, right? So, 2008, there was a game where you dropped 4 touchdowns on us. Okay? The previous game was a home game for us, and we beat y'all, right? And I just wanted to get the perspective of, a vet, that has played in these rivalries, right? What was the perspective for you guys when you played the Panthers 2 times a week or 2 times a year? And in the sense of like the rivalry aspect, did you guys feel like the Panthers were a rivalry? Did you sense that, hey, we got to bring it to these guys, we got to win this game, obviously a division game, but was there an extra sense of urgency when you guys played the Carolina Panthers?
I want to say an extra sense of urgency. We just knew we just had to buckle up our chin straps when we played you guys, man, because y'all had a great defense led by Julius Peppers back then, Hall of Fame DN, and you had Thomas Davis at linebacker later on, Luke Kuechly later on. I don't know if you and Luke Kuechly ever played together.
But, we played. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it was those. We knew it was going to be a tough physical matchup when we played you guys, because we felt y'all was like the closest to us as far as personnel wise, and how y'all wanted to play the football game, how physical y'all wanted to be, and y'all love to run the football. We love to run the football.
Yeah,
it was a matter of keeping y'all off the field and having us control the clock, control the pace of the game versus y'all controlling the clock.
Yeah, and to what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, in 2008, my rookie year, you went off completely that year. You and D'Angelo both went off. You had 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns rushing. 4 of those came against us in November.
In one game.
But in one game, dog. Like, you won. You was over there. You didn't just drop 4 touchdowns on Carolina. You basically ran through our defense rent free. Okay, because clearly you still live in that game lives in my mind rent free. I remember playing y'all the first time. Me and D'Angelo had 15 carries each. So we was committed to the run game. We had 50 yards or so. I think I scored that game, or D'Angelo scored. But and on the other side, you had 50 so yards. And, as a running back, you're always, at the end of the game, you're looking at, who outrushed who on the squads, right?
Right.
And, I felt like we got that game.
Right.
And then lo and behold, it was a turn of events in Atlanta when we went down there to visit y'all. Home field advantage. I don't know what was going on, but you got in that zone 4 times. I'm like, good Lord of mercy.
Yeah.
But, you have a player right now, a special player in Bijan Robinson. Tell me what you see in this cat that you don't see every year. I mean, this might be a generational guy, right?
Right.
Tell me about him from the running back perspective before we jump this thing off.
From a running back perspective, like you see the smoothness in him. It's not a very. It's very rare when you see like a smooth back and dip in and out of holes real easily. Being around 225 and still know how to get skinny. That's a running back term. Get skinny through the hole and be elusive in small spaces. So it's like you're in a phone booth, and you can still get out of there without being touched. Man, it's amazing seeing a guy like that. And he's one of a kind, man. He's very unique. He's a very special back that's going to be doing a lot of damage in this league.
Yeah. When we talking about getting skinny, Mike Turner, how much you played at?
245, 250.
Yeah, I was a 235, 240 back. So when we're talking about skinny, we ain't talking about our size. We're talking about being able to get through them holes when there ain't really no hole there.
Right.
Be able to skinny up a guy such as a linebacker who is also not skinny.
Right. Especially when we play, they a little slimmer now, but
yeah, they were big back then.
Let me ask you a question before we get into the actual preview for Panthers and Falcons. How big of a deal is it to play divisional games this early in September for players in terms of, does your preparation change? Do you have any kind of extra juice into it knowing you're playing a divisional opponent? Because I always hear this game counts twice because it's a divisional game. That kind of mentality.
Right.
What's the mentality that week leading into that divisional game when you're playing one in September, like you're like the Panthers and the Falcons are about to do now? Is it more important, or do you just treat it like another game since it's so early?
Well, speaking from our schedule, we started off with a division opponent. That's tough. I don't think I ever started off with a divisional opponent during my years of playing. And it counts as 2. And you don't want to fall back in the division early in the season, because that can wear on your mindset a little bit. You feel like oh man, we at the bottom, we got to climb our way up. That's a stress that you don't want to have as a team. Even though it's like, okay, it still only counts as 1 game, like on paper, but it counts as 2, because it was like, all right, they got to double those and they have the lead. You know what I'm saying? So the tiebreaker is kind of going to them for right now. But but it's tough. It's tough in September, man. You want to kind of want to get your feet wet first before you jump in the division. But I'm saying? It's our second game, y'all first. So we'll see how it goes, but it is tough. So we definitely don't want to fall 0-2 in the division. I think it's more pressure. It's more pressure on us to win than the Carolina Panthers this week.
Yeah, I think it's to his credit. I think they're in a worse situation than we are because they're already lost, right? They lost to the Buccaneers once, and so they gotta win this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's almost like showing up to a test without preparation. It's like showing up to a test and you didn't have time to study. I didn't get to study my opponent. They knew this year. They ain't what they was last year. So you don't have enough. You don't have all the film. You over there watching film from offensive coordinator from when he was coaching at another team, and so you watching other teams trying to figure out what this offensive coordinator does rather than the actual opponent, the players that he has on the roster at the moment. And so it's literally like showing up to a test and saying, hey, you better ace this test or else. Like, well, I don't have the skill, I don't have the resources. I don't even know who I'm playing.
Right.
So that's what y'all experienced with the Buccaneers. But luckily, your key figures are still there that you can study, such as Baker Mayfield and the running back and Mike Evans. But the defensive side, they kind of switch some things up. So going into a game, not really sure what to expect can be tough. But I will say, the third game of the season, that's when guys start pulling away, right?
Yeah.
That's when you start realizing, like, okay, this team has their team figured out, and they have their processes as far as figuring other teams out, as far as how they're going to approach, studying film and all those things. So that's why this game for us is absolutely also a must win, because at this point there needs to be no excuses, right?
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing, and it's really at all levels: high school, college, pro. By the time you get to like week 3 or so, you kind of have a
we know
idea.
like this when stuff really kicks off week 3. We know what we look like. We got our improvements, we made our adjustments, and we know what we look like as a team. For the most part, sometimes you rally at the end, like y'all did last year. Y'all got better towards the end of the season last year, and y'all really developed over time. But like this year is like, okay, we're coming out the gate. We're trying to be strong out the gate, and not have to wait till November, December to get hot.
Yeah,
we would love that here. We would love that here. Panthers, Falcons. I wanted to get into the Panthers injury report real quick, because it is super important for this game because of the offensive line injuries that we suffered against the Cardinals. One of the leaders of the offense, Robert Hunt, out with a torn bicep, placed on IR, according to head coach Dave Canales yesterday. Austin Corbett, the center, torn MCL. I'm not saying it's the same leg that he had the torn ACL in year before last. He's on IR. Both can come back depending on the severity of the injuries or whatnot. Bleav after 4 weeks. This is the portion of Bleav in Panthers where we tell the fans, take a breath and relax, because the guys coming in behind them, Joe Person, who reports on the Carolina Panthers for The Athletic, he had mentioned just right before we went on that the top 9 offensive linemen all returned for Carolina from last year, which is something that normally doesn't happen, in my understanding, in terms of keeping the continuity for the offensive linemen. So the guys that are coming in behind them, Cade Mays, he started the last 5 or 6 games of the year last year when Bryce got hot. So he's getting that position back, and a lot of Panther fans thought he shouldn't have lost the starting position to begin with. So you put Cade Mays back in at center, and then Chandler Zavala, who was the left guard before they signed Robert Hunt. Basically, they drafted him the year prior. He filled in when he was injured a little bit last year. So these guys have starting experience with this quarterback and with this offense. So that's not as big of an issue in terms of the way it may have seemed when Canales first mentioned it on Monday. I think the offense should be able to potentially do what they're supposed to do with those guys in there. The main thing I noticed, though, and I want to get Michael's opinion on this from the outside looking in, Panthers fans are worried about former first-round draft pick Xavier Legette and what's going on with him. I saw a stat yesterday that I think he's the first player or the second player in NFL history or something to have like 8 targets in a game and have like -2 yards on Sunday, which is crazy when you think about it. What are you seeing from the outside looking in, Mike, in terms of Xavier Legette's development and thoughts on him? Because sometimes he looks like he's kind of lost out there. We kind of forget he's out there sometimes. Oh, wait. I think you're – did you mute?
I think you muted yourself again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Like I said, it's seemed like a Kyle Pitts situation with us. Like, show flashes of being excellent, being great football player, but sometimes get lost in the sauce a little bit. And last couple of years, Kyle Pitts was coming off of injuries. Seemed like he wasn't the same player. But now, hopefully, like Legette was a very talented receiver coming out of South Carolina that you really love. Seems like a great guy. Seems like a great guy to have on your team. But it's just one of those things, man. It's got to find the offense coordinator has to find ways to get him the football, and find different ways to be creative and put him in favorable matchups, and so he can show his talents out there on that football field. We know he got it. We just don't hope he don't find it this week.
I hope he find it this week. I hope he get busy, get to work.
Because Bryce threw 55 attempts on Sunday. And I was just like, man, out of 55 attempps, we couldn't get XL the ball. Like, I mean, he was getting targeted, so it wasn't like he was being forgotten. It's just, I don't know, it's just a weird way for him to start year 2. And then plus you got the added benefit of Ted McMillan coming in, a top 10 draft pick, and he's showing out. Like, he pops on tape. Like, because I was a little hesitant about it when they did it. But now, after seeing live bullets and everything, I'm like, okay, this dude, he might have been the best wide receiver in this draft, and the Panthers grabbed him for Bryce, so I can't be that mad about that.
Yeah, T-Mac is putting on a show. I mean, he's basically historically for the Carolina Panthers, he has the best rookie performance so far in the first 2 games, right? And then you talk about, other notable names that, rookie stardom, starting their season off. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. From last year, guys like that he can now be compared to and living up to expectations. So we got one guy, right? And for Xavier Legette, man, one of the things that's going to help him, in my opinion, is our run game, right? If we figure out our run game to where all of a sudden those linebackers have to creep up and safeties have to creep up, that's going to absolutely give him and Bryce more space to work with as far as these route combinations and these smash concept. I'm looking at it like that's something that we should be able to run and get him wide open, right? Because that's a situation where you get guys sinking into the box. That smash concept, boom, hit them deep, right? And then obviously too, you have the crossing routes and all that. When you get those linebackers sucked up into the box, it's just going to make it way easier for us to deliver the pill. But right now we struggle in that department, and maybe that's a strength that we are leaving out for Xavier Legette is by creating space for him by having less people out there for him to avoid. Not in the sense of I think getting him the ball in space, he would be able to then do what he needs to do. But before that moment where if it's crowded, it might be hard for him to figure out the lanes in which he needs to get open. So I think that's really the strengths and weaknesses that we're dealing with him. But we've all been there, bro. I've had my games.
You're right.
I've had 8. Listen, let me go look at this stat, bro. I had to go back and look and see what kind of game that I had that was like really bad. I had 8 carries for minus yards.
Right.
Minus yards.
It is, it is what it is. And like in the same, like, that's not you. What I'm saying? You can produce big time, you know what I'm saying? You end up being the all-time leading rusher for the Panthers, you know what I'm saying? And congratulations on that. And but like I said, we know as a player, it's like the games comes in bunches, like, all right, I'm hot week in and week out, you know what I'm saying? I just have one bad game here or there, but once I get the rolling, man, I'm gonna have a hot season, you know what I'm saying? But it's all about getting that first good game under your belt, and then you can relax and start balling out for the rest of the season, man, and get all that stuff out your mind, because some of that's mentality, it's mental too. So like I said, I hope he finds out later on this, not this week, but later on. And I found out about T-Mac this week because I'm going to get somebody in fantasy football. I'm like, who's this guy with some points? I'm like, who's this guy? So that was my introduction to him.
So okay, so I'm gonna ask this question for both of you guys here. The biggest keys for victory for your teams here. Now you've seen them play twice. You should probably have a general idea of what they're wanting to do, like offensively, defensively, or whatnot. I would imagine both teams still relatively healthy. We'll get into around the league in a little bit because there's a lot of quarterback injuries that we want to talk about before we got off here. What do you think is the biggest key to the game for your team to win on Sunday?
Well, since I got injuries up front, I'll say we still got to improve on our defensive pass rush. We had 6 sacks last week, which is great. That's how we've been at the bottom of the barrel, man, for the past couple seasons, rushing the quarterback and getting to the passer. So we got to keep that momentum going. Keep y'all behind the chains. Keep y'all in third and long, man. Like I said, don't let y'all run game get going. Chuba Hubbard is a great back too. So we got to keep him off the field as well, and so like I said, as long as we control the clock on our end, I think we'll be in great shape.
Stu, your thoughts for the Panthers? What do you think's our key after 2 completely opposite games that we've watched?
There's a lot of keys. There's the obvious one, which is turnovers, right? We got to make sure we win that battle. But I'm gonna go ahead and go on the defensive side of the ball here. Our linebackers have got to be ready. You got to be ready. You got to come with your 8 game there, fella. Because there's a guy named Bijan Robinson on the other side of the ball.
Right.
Special. And you got to make sure you bring your special game because it's an opportunity, man. people are going to be watching Bijan Robinson. And if you can be the duo, the team, the defense to put it to a guy like that and stop him, you making a case and a statement for the rest of the league. And that's just an automatic confident builder. And obviously this is a division opponent, so you have to absolutely come with your A game. Whatever it is, whatever it takes, you got to stop the run, but not just the run. You got to stop the pass to Bijan Robinson. Wherever he at, I need at least 2 guys on him at all time. We usually, you spy a quarterback. I need to spy Bijan.
I agree with you about the linebackers. I was trying to think, how many times have you heard Trevin Wallace's name called out during the game in the past 2 weeks? Because I'm like, I don't think I've heard it at all. Like, he's just kind of out there. Rosenblum actually saved a touchdown last week. Ran down.
Etienne, Trevor Etienne.
Yeah. So he said, So the linebackers have to really, especially in this 3-4 defense that I'm still not a fan of, the middle of it. You got Derrick Brown back, so you got that there. You got to have a good middle linebacker. You got to have a good safety if you're going to run 3-4 like this. Otherwise, teams are just going to run right up the middle on you all day. And we've seen that.
We did a decent job. We did a pretty good job last week against the Arizona Cardinals by holding them in check. They got James Conner, and we did a good job. So just transfer that same effort. I mean, it's a whole defensive unit effort to stop the run game. I think Derrick Brown, his presence is going to be felt. Just like it was against Arizona, minus that, Kyler Murray escaping the backfield like how he was doing on the scrambles.
That thing.
The run game, we actually did a pretty good job. So we just got to make sure we contain, I think, holding Atlanta under at least 120. Call it 120. Hold them under 120. We're going to be all right.
Mike, let me ask you this question before we do the FanDuel Bet of the Week. What are your thoughts on Michael Penix Jr., the second-year quarterback that you guys have? That a lot of fans, I remember, were questioning the pick when they did it because you just signed Kirk Cousins to that deal, and now in hindsight, the Falcons often they look pretty smart for doing it. Your thoughts on Penix and where he is right now in year 2?
Right, man. Like I said, like in hindsight, man, it's a great pickup, man. You like you said, I saw sometimes the fans and everybody else has to just calm down and relax when the front office makes choices, because they know what they're doing up there and they study it. They go through this throughout the whole offseason, man, of guys that they've targeted, man. And they kept it pretty secret, man, that they was looking at the guy. And I give him a great job on that. And like I said, he's been a winner everywhere he's been. He has that it factors for me as far as having that poise and having that fight in him that, even though we're down, he never gives up. He puts us in positions where he doesn't fold under pressure. Like week 1, he gave it, like I said, he had 2 drives of one to take the lead late, and then when Tampa Bay bounced back and took the lead, he still gave us a chance to go back. He answered with another great drive to put us in position to win. We just missed the field goal. So when you see that in your quarterback that can go back and forth and do it like that, it's a great sign that we have, and he's going to have a bright future here in Atlanta.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about y'all new kicker?
He's making field goals. That's what it's about. He's good for now. He's good for this week. If he start missing it, we'll get another one.
Get him out of here.
Michael Turner in here with us, co-host of the Bleav in Falcons podcast here on Bleav in Panthers, as we get to our FanDuel Bet of the Week and we look at the game lines for this game. The Falcons, even though they're on the road, are favored 4.5 according to FanDuel here. The money line, they've got Atlanta at minus 230. They got Carolina at plus 190. The over-under for this game is 43.5 points. 43.5 points between these two teams. So, basically like a 21-18, 24-21 game, something like that. That kind of sounds about right for them, because I don't think the Panthers have a problem with scoring 20 points. Like, I don't think that's going to be an issue for them this year, especially if they're relatively healthy. I think their issue is going to be shootouts. I think they're going to be kind of like shootouts for most of the year. And that's just primarily because they still haven't had enough time to really get enough depth on defense. And again, I'm still not sold on Ejiro Evero's 3-4 defense and how it is, although it did play better last week. It didn't feel like it. Like watching the game, it felt like they're ripping off 15-yard runs and Kyler Murray's running all around doing stuff. And I'm like, what are y'all doing on defense? And then you look at the box score, and I'm like, oh, they actually did okay. So
right. You're right.
So it's one of those. It's emotional. I'm the emotional one between the two of us here. Stu's level-headed, like everybody be calm, and I'm like the house is on fire. Everybody get out.
I'm namaste.
Fire everybody. Like I'm that one. So
I'm Rafiki out here.
You guys can definitely head over to FanDuel and check out the stuff there. They got some same game parlays in here and the popular bet they have for that game. Carolina Panthers total points at 19.5. They got Falcons total points at 23.5. So there's your point spread there. And it kind of sound that could honestly either way. With a division game, it feels like anytime divisional opponents see each other, regardless of what's going on, anything can happen. Cincinnati almost beat or almost lost.
I can tell you what's going to happen.
What you got?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
So we started that game off, the Arizona game off terrible, right? Or not to our liking.
Jacksonville.
But we came back. We got the juice before we left, right? We felt the juice, we felt the energy, had the little cardiac cat effect. And guess who we ended the season off with last year?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons. Was that the
nice? We had a nice little closure.
I was gonna bring that game up. Like I said, I was gonna bring that game because offensively, y'all probably got better since that season finale last year. So we're not coming in this game taking the Carolina Panthers lightly. We know when it's time to play, the guys can buckle up and play. It's a division game, man.
And it's a home game.
Home opener.
Right. We've been on.
I hate playing the Carolina, man. It was always gloomy, overcast, a little rainy.
Get cold.
It's that lull you to sleep. I gotta check the weather forecast this week,
and the difference then though, we had grass, y'all had turf, so you.
They don't have grass anymore. They got turf.
You know what? The environment is still the same.
The environment's still the same.
Come up to the vault. And it should be a packed house for the home opener. 1:00 again, kickoff on Fox this Sunday. We wanted to go around the league real quick before we got out of here because there was a number of national stories that we needed to get to. The biggest one, the number of injuries to NFL starting quarterbacks by the end of week 2. I'll just run through a list of the people. Well, there's 5 main ones that have gotten injured here. Joe Burrow being the biggest one. Cincinnati, for all the talk in the offseason about Cincinnati getting off the slow starts and everything, Cincinnati's sitting here with a 2-0 record, but they will not have Joe Burrow for at least 3 months after undergoing surgery for a toe injury he had during Jacksonville on Sunday. Burrow's already had a number of serious injuries in his career, and he won comeback player of the year in 2021 and 2024 because of it. But he didn't want to be up for it again. And 3 months. I mean, you're talking one's in November, the whole season. Like it's like every other year.
I'm good.
Player of the year. Right. So Burrow has that, and then another team that was doing Minnesota, who you guys, JJ McCarthy, he has a torn left meniscus. He's reportedly expected for 2 to 4 weeks out. Oh well, he missed that with his rookie year. I'm sorry. He's got a high ankle sprain, 2 to 4 weeks that he had in the week 2 loss to Atlanta. I told Stu, I didn't even realize Carson Wentz was still in the league. Carson Wentz is the backup for him in Minnesota. We'll see how he does. Justin Fields is in concussion protocol for the Jets. He had to exit the game early against the Bills. The Bills put a spanking on the Jets on Sunday. So Tyrod Taylor will take his spot. Mac Jones had to fill in for the 49ers because Brock Purdy is week to week with a toe injury he has himself.
Yeah. Mac Jones went crazy this weekend.
Mac Jones did it.
Mac Jones.
Right. Who?
Everybody wrote him off. We was like, wait a minute. He played for the 49ers?
He was 26 for 39 for 279 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, including a 42-yarder to Juwan Jennings in the fourth quarter. Now, they play the 2-0 Cardinals in week 2 or week 3 this upcoming week, so we'll see if Mac Jones can keep that up. Out of all those injuries, which one do you think is the biggest one out of all those 5?
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. And, but the thing is, like, he's got a chance to come back, and it's good that they started off 2-0. Yeah. Now, if they was 0-2, and he got hurt, probably want to wrap it up for Cincinnati. But since they got off to that fast start, man, and that was saying, you don't want to start off at the bottom of the division early in the season because that wears on you mentally, all that stress that you're putting on yourself and on your team to try to catch up, get out that hole.
Especially
they got the 2-0 start, so hopefully that can work out in their favor later on down the season.
Yeah.
You think
so? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not them. Then maybe it's.
I'm curious about San Francisco. I'm curious about San Francisco and that whole.
Maybe the Vikings are the same Niners.
Maybe the Vikings, because people forget the Vikings. The Vikings only lost to. Go ahead, Mike.
I was like, maybe the Vikings, because their quarterback last year was Sam Darnold, and he had a Pro Bowl season. And for them to move on off that quarterback, and you know, what I'm saying, start anew with something else, that's tough on a team, man. You know, Mac Jones got some experience under his belt as far as playing starting football, and they have Kyle Shanahan. So I give them a chance. I give them a better chance than the Vikings.
So the Vikings right now so we're gonna ride with the Vikings. Then they're the ones that losing big right now with the men.
For the quarterback. Hey, we got Kirk. We can get on the phone. We got Kirk. You can have him back.
You want him back? I'm surprised.
That's some value though right now, right?
Minnesota, that's some value right now, right? But with all these injuries, we might want to hold on to. We might want to hold on to him, man. With everything's going out, that injury bug going around.
You never know what's going on.
Minnesota went 14-3 last year. They only lost to Detroit twice, and I think the Chargers, and that was it. And then they had to go on a road for their wild card game, and I believe it was the Chargers. They had to go play, and they lost. So those are the only teams they lost to last year. Nobody talks about their defense at all. Their defense is really, really good, and if they've got pieces, so whoever they're going to slide into that. Carson Wentz. We'll see if Carson Wentz can bring back the magic of what year was that when Carson Wentz was getting touted for MVP when he was with the Eagles.
That was like 2018
time ago. Yeah. He's 32. That's why I was like, I didn't even know he was still in the league. So it was.
Before we get out of here, what do y'all think about Carly Ursay,
the owner of the Colts?
The Colts owner.
With
the headset on, with the notepad. Hey, look,
I heard she was lifting weights with the team. I heard she's down there lifting weights in the weight room.
And they 2-0. Whatever's happening.
Right.
That's not because of her though. That's because of Superman Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is that guy.
I don't know why.
But maybe there's a whole hey, y'all better run these plays the right way. I hear y'all up there.
Right.
I'm here lifting weights with y'all. Come on,
I'm here in the weight room. You said you was gonna go 60-40 pass this game.
Right.
We went 40-60. I need you to come with your game plan. Stick to it now.
Man, stick to it. Right. We heard them stories back in the day. Don't let her pull an Al Davis and actually call plays for, you know what I'm saying?
She might already be, but hey, once you look down bottom right of that sheet and
I don't know. All I gotta say is whatever she's doing is working. So
you got to keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. I did want to ask this to you guys too, because this is a situation that we're not used to. Kansas City is 0-2. We usually kind of just pencil them into the AFC Championship game. I think Pat Mahomes has been there 6 out of the 7 years or whatever. He's starting something nuts. Is this the end of the Chiefs dynasty as we know it, the way it's constructed? Because it feels like he doesn't have enough offense around him to do anything right now. They'll get pieces back, but by then, I mean, his division is stacked. Like the Chargers are undefeated, and Stu knows how I feel about Jim Harbaugh. I love the dude. I wanted him here as our coach, and he just wins everywhere he goes. So we knew the Chargers were going to be a sleeping giant. It was only going to be a matter of time, especially if Harbaugh has a quarterback. If he has if he has a quarterback, he can build around it. They're going to run jumbo. They're going to run right at you. They're not going to disguise anything. They're just going to play football, and they're doing that. Denver is going to be around. The Raiders are better. Like, is this it for the Chiefs? Are they going to have to?
We're going to see if they lose to the New York Giants this week. We can talk about it.
0-3,
yeah. And also, I'm excited to see the Denver Chargers or the Denver Broncos play the Chargers to see what the effect with the Broncos is right now, and to see if they're a real deal, right? Because if they are a real deal and they mess around and beat the Chargers, and we don't got a pinpoint on anything. This thing still has to play out.
This is the first time Patrick Mahomes started off 0-2.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm kind of curious to see how this is, because Travis Kelce's a year older. Did he say this is last year? Did he say he was going to retire?
He didn't officially announce it, but he's getting married. You know what I'm saying? The signs are there. This is last year.
Yeah, father time. That's father time there.
I mean, he's marrying Taylor Swift, so it's like, yeah. I mean, you won what 3 Super Bowl rings? Like my man's living up here. He's living a life right now. So I'm curious if he's like really even. I would imagine that Super Bowl loss the way they lost, and then losing to the Eagles here in week 2, like
there's motivation.
We're not as good as we need to be.
You got to trust Andy Reid. Andy Reid gonna get them boys ready because, like, you know what I'm saying, they can't be like the dynasty is not over. It's not over till it's over. So they've been still representing the AFC the past couple of years, and they feel like there's the Kings till somebody knocks them off officially. Knock them off.
Don't let them in the playoffs. Like if they get in the 7th seed, the wild card, or whatever, I would not want to play Kansas City in January. Regardless, like I've learned not to bet against them because they just figure out ways to win. They won a lot of close games last year. You know, they only lost what, we were 15-2 or something like that, but they gave that last game away.
15-2, yeah.
A lot of weird missed extra points at ends of games, or blocked field goals, or the dude's toe was out of bounds. That was that Baltimore game at the beginning of last year. They had a lot of those, and they won a lot of those. Usually it goes back to the mean. So maybe that's what we're seeing with Kansas City right now. And again, watch out for the Chargers, because I feel like the Chargers are going to end up being like the 1 or 2 seed in the AFC when this is all said and done. Nobody's really talking about them like that. Baltimore, of course, is going to be there. And we talked about this before, Stu. This feels like it's either Baltimore or Buffalo's year, like to get over the Mahomes hump and get to the Super Bowl. But I don't know if either one of them are better than the Eagles. So it's like, it's the same like 4 teams, it feels like, that we're talking about up here at the top of everything looking down. And it feels like the Eagles are kind of just looking at everybody like, we got this thing running for the next 3 or 4 years. We got people signed. We're young. We use our draft picks on our line. Like, you know, they're building a football team the way you would build it in a video game. Like if you wanted to build, this is what I want for my offense. This is for I want Saquon Barkley at running back. And you know what I'm saying? Like they're building it like that, like a Madden team. And I don't see anybody in the NFC that's really going to challenge the Eagles at this point. The way they've been playing the first 2 games, it feels like they're just kind of in cruise control.
Yeah, I'm at this point where whoever won the Super Bowl previous year, I ain't counting them out.
Yeah,
I ain't betting against them either.
And it used to be good, because it used to be like, you know, if you made it to the Super Bowl, more often than not, you kind of fell back the next year, or actually the loser of the Super Bowl, as usually it was. The loser of the Super Bowl usually doesn't make the playoffs the very next year. And we're kind of seeing that with Kansas City bucked that trend a couple years back, but when they lost to Tampa. But those are the 2 losses in my mind that stick out for Kansas City: that Tampa loss in the Super Bowl and that Philly loss in the Super Bowl, where they just got, the offensive line got bullied. Like Patrick Mahomes, I had never seen that man run for his life before, except for in those 2 games. Like he literally had nowhere to go. So maybe people kind of cracked the code in Kansas City. Anything else y'all want to touch on? I didn't mention Jalen Daniels with the knee injury for Commanders. How big is that for him to be out a week or 2?
Well, he seems like he's probably in the best shape of anybody to actually play this week. So until they kind of out and say he's ruled out, then I wasn't worried about Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. Was it an MCL?
Sprayed knees, all they said. So
that might be an MCL. If it's an MCL, then he'd be all right.
Let me get this real quick before we get out of here. Are you buying or selling Green Bay? Because that's been the buzz the past couple of weeks. Is Green Bay and how they play. They got this like quote unquote juice. Now they got Parsons in the house, and
I'm buying it.
Also Green Bay. You buying? Because I just said I didn't think anybody could touch the Eagles, and then I was like, oh wait, what about Green Bay?
No, well, my team, like when you said that, my team dimension is Detroit, because you didn't get to see Detroit last year. They was beat up by the time the playoffs started last year.
Yeah.
So this year, if they stay healthy, they still got them ball players, man. They still got the ball players. They was the favorites to come out the NFC last year, I think.
Yeah, they're the ones
until the injuries happened. So I want to give them more of a fair shot this year as a being healthy team going into the playoffs.
I do agree with them being healthy. I didn't give them a shot because they lost both their offense and defensive coordinators, Aaron Glenn with the Jets, and yeah. So I mean, I didn't know how that was going to be for that, but yeah, Detroit should be in there too. And Detroit's got to play Green Bay twice. I don't know. Green Bay just feels like they're the youngest team in the league too. By the way,
right.
You got Micah Parsons out there. He automatically made that team 10 times better.
They already thought they were good, you know, and you got
right. They made
now,
it last year without them. So adding that piece is a key, and we'll see how that gels, see how that goes.
So there's that. So again, Panthers, Falcons. You guys want to guess a final score on that before we go? Panthers
Dub.
52-0. No,
Lord mercy.
man. We let them they got a 50 burger on us.
It's gonna be, I know it's gonna be a tough ball game, man. Like I gonna be revenge game for us. I'm saying it was an ugly loss at the end of the season last year. And it was embarrassing on our part that we felt like we let that team come in and whoop on us in our house like that last year, with a chance of us making the playoffs. You know, y'all didn't have anything to fight for at that point. And for us just to lay an egg like that against that team, man, we felt embarrassed, man. We felt embarrassed. We felt like we needed to make some changes to our defense, man. And that's where we got aggressive defense for our first 2 picks in the first round, traded back up to get another defensive pass rusher. So
James Pierce,
we'll see how that pans out.
I know James Pierce from doing high school football here in North Carolina. He went to Chambers, Julius Chambers High School here, and was a top national pick coming out into college. Stu, you got a take of the week or anything? Anything you saw this week? Look,
I'm gonna call Atlanta Falcons pass rush a fluke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Bryce Young gonna get back into his groove. He's gonna have flashbacks from the last game of last year.
Right.
And he's gonna have the flashbacks from this third and fourth quarter in Arizona. And he gonna get to work. Zavala gonna fill in. Caden May is gonna fill in, do their job, and that run game gonna be back. So I'm gonna go with 31-17, dog.
Oh man,
31-17 Panthers.
Yeah,
yo.
Okay. Man.
All right,
Okay, we'll see. I got to check. Like I said, I got to check that weather report, man. If it's gloomy out there, man, I don't know. Y'all might lull us to sleep out there, man. The atmosphere is crazy in Carolina, man. I'm looking forward to the game, man. It's gonna be a great one.
It says I'm only like an hour away. It says Sunday, 77 degrees is the high, partly cloudy. It should be sunny skies. It's like that all week, actually. It's like a really nice week weather-wise here.
Hey, man, don't set this man up to Bleav, man.
Lure him in. I want to get him in the bank. I want to get him in there so he can watch and see Bryce. That was the Steph Curry game. That was the one where Bryce did the touchdown turnaround before dude caught it. And I always think, what if that dude had not caught that football? Like, like, listen, the dude like drops it or something. But we're gonna get out of here. Again, place your bets over at FanDuel on this. Again, the Falcons and the Panthers. The Falcons are favored by 4.5, and the over under for the total was, I think, 43.5, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely go 43.5 is that the money line, minus 230 for the Falcons, plus 190 for the Panthers. Go to FanDuel Sportsbook. You can do that right now. Get those bets in for the weekend. And we're going to get out of here. Make sure you check out Bleav in Falcons also, too, on the Bleav Podcast Network with Michael Turner and friends. For Jonathan Stewart, for Desmond Johnson, and our guest, Michael Turner, this is the Bleav in Panthers podcast you've been watching and listening to on the Bleav Podcast Network. We will see you on our live post-game show probably around about 4:30-ish on a Sunday, immediately following the end of the game, where me and Stu will either be cheering with all of you or attempting to calm down Panther Nation after whatever we just watched.
Mike, if you ever want to join, let us know.
Yeah,
okay, I will, man. And good,
like literally,
good luck to y'all.
We're live on Bleav's YouTube, so yeah. Actually, we'll see what you're doing after the game. See if we can catch y'all.
All right. I'm still thinking about coming to the game, so I don't know. I'll see where I'm at.
All right, I'll be in the booth.
I was about to say, we'll put y'all on the same shot. We'll just put y'all on the same thing at the same time and have y'all in there. So we'll get that together. But we'll see you guys Sunday live, immediately following Panthers and Falcons. For everybody in Panther Nation, keep pounding.